Only Area 51 we will be raiding is the arcade cabinet. This is Fluxtaposed episode 270, recorded on July 16, 2019. On the docket today, we're back from vacation. Let's go around the web. What you plan, featuring Masters of Doom in Midsummer. As always, we're going to close the show with that sweet, sweet, awkward finish. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the show. We take some time off and we got to remember all over again how I do my things I'm supposed to do. I was like, is he pointing for me to start or is he telling me he needs a minute? I'm not sure what that means.
I used every hand signal in the book.
And I was just kind of like glassy eye going,
Well, you don't want to, it's a weird thing because you don't want to like go and then not be the right time and throw everything off. And
Next time, just give me a hand jive in there.
a hand job?
You know. No, hand jive.
Oh, you had me all excited. Well, I was over here.
That would require us to hang out in person.
That's true. Nobody
that'll
wants
never
that. I had to use
happen.
my left hand to start the intro song and
You're
to
using the stranger,
Yeah,
the stranger
exactly.
technique.
I s-
Welcome to Fluxtaposed. This is the show. This is what you can expect. If you've never been here before, thank you for joining us. If you're a returning person, well, that's super. We're great. Hope you're great too. Welcome. Join us on Discord. Fluxtaposed.com/Discord gets you the invite into the server. We stream this show live on twitch.tv/Fluxtaposed every Tuesday, 9 p.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time. Love to have you in the live chat. Come hang out. And we're still doing that community survey. I don't know for how long. We'll keep posting it there in the show notes. We'd love to get your feedback on the show, what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, what you'd like to see changed. And if you're so inclined, like some cool people, you can check out Patreon, patreon.com/Fluxtaposed. Help this little show that could be a greater sum of all its parts. Woo! That's Fluxtaposed in a nutshell. This is our hangout podcast. We invite you to pull out a chair, sit down on it, grab a frosty beverage, some liquidating water, whatever you want. You know?
that's what I forgot. My
Just
frosty
hang out with us.
beverage.
I got this massive 48-ounce Nalgene bottle of water I'm going to drink here
Yum.
because I'm going to. Here I go.
He's doing it live, folks.
Delicious.
You heard it.
Lucas, I was on vacation. I'm sure you want to hear all about it, don't you?
I do. I mean, our contact was quite limited, so I'm curious. I don't really know.
Yeah, I tried to
How'd it
stay off
go?
Discord. I mean, I kind of scrolled through the old tweets every once in a while, but I didn't really try to, mostly in Discord, I was just opening it and scrolling through servers just to keep the white notification lights away.
Mm-hmm.
And to
I
keep
heard
things, otherwise, yeah, I didn't really pay attention to it. I mean, I'm sure in PSVG, I missed thousands of conversations. I saw my phone explode when the Switch Lite was announced. And
Oh, yeah, you were gone for
I saw
that.
that. But I mean, yeah, other than that, it was nice to unplug, as they say. Yeah, vacation was good. Longer than expected. We left our house. When did we leave? Saturday? We left Saturday, excuse me, and stayed at my in-laws, and then we're there on Sunday, had lunch with my mom, and then we got up early Sunday morning, packed up, and took the drive up to, we boarded the dogs, and we took the drive to Mackinac Island in northern Michigan, which is about it was a little bit over a 3-hour drive from where we're at. We stayed on the island for a week at a location called Mission Point, which I've stayed on the island before, which it's just really nice because the main strip of the island is very touristy. There's all the shops and the fudge and the bars. So that's where all the action happens. And you get away from that, and it's a much more leisurely experience. For those that may not be aware, Mackinac Island specifically is one of the more historic sites in Michigan. There was a fort, British fort, I believe. Was it British? I believe it was.
Yeah, I believe so.
Originally, there was a British fort there that was during, I believe the war of. Gosh, it wasn't Wasn't a revolution. No, you know what? I think it was during the War of 1812. I want to think. I don't think it was during the Revolutionary War. I think it was during the War of 1812. But there was a couple forts. There's a Fort Michilimackinac and there's a Fort Mackinac. So on the island, it was actually Michilimackinac and Mackinac City, which is a neighboring large port. Well, one of the main access ports to get to the island. There was another fort there as well. Um, Interesting tidbit. I learned that there's a famous naval icebreaker ship that's now a museum. The Coast Guard used it. So it's this huge, massive freighter that essentially just plowed through the ice of the Great Lakes to keep the waterways open. And supposedly they're like, this is one of the ships that helped win the war because during World War II, they kept the channels open because they were shipping iron ore from Minnesota through the Great Lakes down to Gary, Indiana, of course, where it was smelted and produced into
home of Michael Jackson.
The machines of the war. You know, where someone like Daniel Plainview, he's an oil man, could make his fortunes.
It's true,
you know?
and they made those maps.
I don't know
those old timey.
I don't know where I'm going this, but getting back to Mackinac Island, it's historic. They don't allow any vehicles on the island. I think the only ones you'll see. I think there's some trash, some dump trucks, some trash trucks, and they have an ambulance. But otherwise, it's all bicycles and horses. So it's a very interesting experience, but very expensive too, because here on the island, they're like, oh, let's upcharge everything. So you want an entree, that's going to be a minimum of $15. So you have a wife, a kid, and you're looking at a minimum of $50 to go to a meal.
It's all those. It's because they have to ship everything in from the mainland.
Exactly. Beer was about the only thing that wasn't upcharged. It was like $4 to $6 a pint, depending on what you got. But I mean, it was good. The crummiest day is when I had to do payroll there, because we did have Wi-Fi at the resort. But I was working off a laptop, and I had to run. It took me forever just to generate the reports and to get everything into Excel. It took me like 4.5 hours of my Wednesday doing payroll. So, I mean, luckily I get to credit that PTO back to myself. But it's tough to stomach how much money we spent that we didn't have. But then I tell myself, we haven't gone on vacation since we went on our honeymoon. And, you know, sometimes you got to just do it. You gotta live every once in a while, you know?
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm getting at. And you gotta have, making memories with our son and having experiences. And
I was going to ask you how that, because this is your first real vacation, right?
First real vacation and first vacation with a toddler.
Yeah.
Which changes things. I mean, my in-laws were up there too, you know, so we did a lot of stuff with them. We weren't with them all the time, but so like, you know, we still had his nap. So when it was time for his nap, we went back to our room, and my wife naps sometimes. I read. I brought my Switch. I think I only played it for maybe an hour. I didn't even touch that. I was either reading or just that's what I really did.
You were living the simple life, man. You had a mint julep on the Grand Hotel front porch, and you were reading.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, we kept pretty stringent. We tried to get him a nap every day between 12 and 3, and then, you know, we'd have him. He'd stay up a little bit later, but we'd still have him in bed between 7 and 8. So, I mean, that was kind of the downside, is like, you know, we couldn't enjoy too much extra things, you know. And, you know, yeah, we had a patio, but we didn't really use it too much. And then my in-laws watched him one night, so we got to go out and have dinner, and that was a good time. But it's different. It's a lot different with a kid. I mean, he did all right though. I mean, he slept well. He had a lot of fun, I think. He really had a good time, and it was just good for me that, you know, I didn't work for 5 days, so, you know, just to spend that time
not working
completely with the family and focus was really nice. And we were hoping to be back on Saturday, so you get that nice recharge at home.
Yeah.
And we ended up visiting my dad, and he's got what does he have? He has a Polaris Ranger, you know, like those little golf cart off-road dealies, you know, ATV type things. And we went on a ride with that, and my brother and his wife and their son were there too, so the boys were getting to play together. We stayed a lot longer at my dad's than I expected, and we're like, there's no way we can go home. We're not gonna go home till 9. We can't keep Aiden up that late. We're starving. Let's just stay at your folks again. So we stayed over another night and then got home on Sunday, which leads to the next story.
We're
like, okay, so we went to an open house on Saturday that we really liked. We're like, okay, let's put an offer in it.
Yeah, I saw you had mentioned that.
Put an offer on this house in Rockford, and then we found out, we're like, there's some more things we want to do around the house. So we brought home a power washer with us, because I was going to power wash the backside of the house. And they were like, we need to clean up the backyard. So we got home on Sunday, just mowed Then I went out there and trimmed all the weeds that had gone crazy in their backyard and around the
Wow.
whole house. Got that all trimmed down. And then plan was we're gonna prune the trees a little bit and then power wash. Well, I was like, how much is it power? Like I want to rent like a power pruner, which is essentially a chainsaw on a stick.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I wanted. But it was like a minimum of like an hour, like 4 hour rental, and it was like $60. I was like, I'm just gonna buy a manual pruner then for 40. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see the point. So we
I
get the
might
manual
need to do
pruner.
that. I might need to rent one of those chainsaws on a stick for the driveway. I'll talk about that when you're
Oh,
done.
yeah,
But
yeah. And tell you what, manual pruning sucks. But I mean, it made a huge difference. We got most of the backyard cleaned out, but then there was this larger branch that was taking forever to saw through. I'm like, I'm just gonna get the chainsaw. Never used a chainsaw before. My mom gave me her electric chainsaw
I was
forever to
gonna
go to
say
borrow,
electric
so
or
I still
gas.
had it. So I'm like, whatever. Sawing off branches, get all
Nice.
that cleaned up. Got all that cleaned up, and then we got super ambitious because we did need a quote to have professionals come out. We have a pine tree that's slowly dying. They take that down. They prune the trees, and then along between in my basement here, over to my left, there's a space between mine that's the bordering house. So that my air conditioner's on this side of the house, and there's probably like I'd say 10 feet in between the two houses, 10 to 15. I'm not sure exactly. And we have a bunch of trees. We had like 3 trees, smaller trees that are like right around the edge of our house. If we had like cinder block foundation, it might be a concern. We don't. You got to worry about. You don't want the roots getting into your foundation.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like this vine system that grows along our fence, and then it's all over in these trees, and it tries to grow into the siding, and it's up on the roof, and so these trees are like unruly. They need to come down too. And so we originally got a quote for all that done, and then Justin's like, "We should try taking those trees down. We should. I bet we could do it." And we're like, "All right, why not?" So we start hacking away, get a lot of the extra crap cleared away, take down one of the small ones. So we got these 2 tall trees left. Now here's the problem: my neighbor's got the satellite dish, and then they've got their internet cable run comes out there too, and I'm like, well, let's do this. If we line it up right, we can get the tree to fall right into the backyard. So I
Oh
put the
God.
notch in there. You know, I've watched enough TV. I know this done. I
Right.
get cut the V
The
notch in there,
V.
start
Yep.
making the next cut, and we're like
Push
we're
it.
gonna start pushing it, and then we'll cut it the rest of the way through, and then we thought we had it cut. No, like the core of that tree was still solid, and the tree is like wobbling.
Oh
And so
no.
Jess and I are holding it, and then I'm holding it in place. I'm like, we can't get it to move. And she's like, what do you want me to do? She's like, should I go get Fred? He was our neighbor. She's like, should I get Fred to help? And I'm just like standing there holding this tree up. And I'm just like, not no. She's like, you're like,
No,
yes,
we don't
get
need Fred.
So I felt like for an eternity, I'm sitting here holding this tree, and I can just feel my back just like, and I'm like shifting positions and having to study it. So my neighbors come over. He's either stoned or drunk, maybe both. His
Now
girlfriend.
what
I mean,
shame
they're
here you
feeling
got
good.
going on
They're like,
here?
oh yeah, we could take this down. Yeah, no problem. Just cut it. We got this. So we somehow we get the first tree down. Okay, good. The problem is the second tree is much taller. There's no way it would much easier to fall to the front yard, but then we're gonna probably take out that line, so we can't do that.
Okay.
So I get up on the roof. I take off extra branches from the roof, and then we try to tie a line around it so they can pull it. The line breaks as soon as we try. So I'm like, finally, I'm like, okay. So I'm on the roof, grabbing a bunch of this tree, sitting on my butt so I'm balanced. Because one time I almost slingshotted myself off the roof already when I was pulling the tree back. I lost my footing a little bit, and the
Oh
tree
God.
went, and I almost went with it. If that would
Oh,
have been the case, I would have just held on for dear life, you know.
I would
And
hope
hopefully,
that you would make a goofy noise like ah.
and not do like a human trebuchet off of this thing.
Okay.
So I'm holding the tree, and then Just cuts it, and then I like guide it down the roof line, and somehow we got it to land perfectly where we wanted to. We didn't hit the fence, we didn't hit the house. I did hit part of the gutter on the way down and knocked it loose, but we just put a bigger screw on. Deal. So I got all the trees down.
Dang.
We thought this was going to be a quick job. We ended up spending 3 hours after Aiden went to bed.
Oof.
Hadn't checked on our son, and like till it was like 9:30. I'm exhausted. I'm like covered in tree pieces and dirt everywhere.
And it was hot outside too.
It was hot, and it was crazy. And the difference is amazing because I'm used to usually looking out this small basement window and seeing tree, and now I don't.
Yeah.
I just see the neighboring house. It's insane what a difference it's made.
Did
So,
you do
so,
before and afters?
I think Jess did because we've got this neighbor that shares the lot behind us, and he came over one day, came up to the backyard. I think when Justin and Aiden were out there, and he was talking to her. And he was like, you know, I'm for a prayer for. I'm like, I'm Larry, you know, from across the street, and I've been meaning to come on and talk to you guys for a while, but I've been over to the front door, but nobody's been home. And Jess is like, first of all, that's bullshit because I'm home
All the
every day.
yeah.
We're always here. You've seen us here. And he's like, well, you guys have been throwing. I know it's my tree, but I appreciate it if you're not throwing sticks over on my side of the fence. And I've seen the grass clippings you guys throw back here, and it's like, okay, I know for a fact I haven't thrown any grass clippings back there for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
What the?
and it's all like his house sits at the far end of the property, and it's just like some random trees and crap there. It's like, okay, whatever.
He's gonna be
So
one
like,
of those dudes.
yeah. So we took the pictures just in case because these are the trees that are on. The way I understand it, what we were told, your fence, your property line goes straight up. So if the tree's on your side, you can do whatever you want
Yep.
to it because it's
Yeah.
on your property. So we're just like, we're gonna take pictures anyway in case this is like that guy that would cause
A stink.
a situation. So
Yeah.
yeah, we were lumberjacks, man. I felled some trees.
Nice.
And we didn't have to pay to pick it up because my neighbor wants to burn them all. So
I was
like,
gonna
okay,
say,
sweet.
what are you gonna do with that wood? I could probably build a pretty sweet bookshelf.
So and then we did get we got him a gift certificate to Texas Roadhouse.
Oh.
Because we couldn't have done it without him, and we were very appreciative of their help.
And
so,
you sounds like you harshed his buzz a little bit by making him do some work.
I know, and dude, I was so sore. I like laid down that night, and I was just like, you can just feel your back and the muscles like
Everything pops when you move.
like every vertebrae slowly like. It was tough. Never done that before. Definitely, we might have got a little over ambitious for ourselves, but hey, it all worked out.
Dang.
So what's the perfect way to end vacation? Just to like throw yourself into laborious work.
You come home and you're just like, I hate our house.
And then later that night, we found out our offer wasn't accepted. So
that's a good way to damper your spirits.
It seems like more and more like, I don't know. I think we had a really strong offer price wise, but I feel like people just don't want to deal with the contingency. And like these people weren't even going to turn over, like couldn't give occupancy until like September because they're building a new house. So I didn't think a timetable would be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody else in Granville, I just saw they sold their house. They bought a house at asking price and they sold their house $30,000 over asking price in
Dang.
2 hours.
Holy crap.
2 hours. So I mean, the market's insane. It's just super competitive, and I think
I'm in the wrong business.
I think what's going to happen, I feel like, is we're just going to stay here through the winter, so I don't have to commute, and then we're just going to sell the house in the spring, and then I don't know what we're going to do. We're probably going to move in with my in-laws for a little bit, and then I'll have a boatload of money to pay off everything, and then we'll just start shopping because I feel like you just anything that like can possibly hold you back right now in this market, it does, and they just sell it. Why?
It's a seller's market, so they can just pick
if all
and choose.
things are equal, why do they? If our loans are equal and the dollar amounts equal, well, you're gonna pick someone that can just buy it, or you're gonna pick someone that has to sell a house first. I mean,
yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
It's the crummy part about it. So.
Dang. Wow. We might be looking down that road eventually as well as the kids get older.
Yeah, so, I mean, you don't have much of a choice there because I mean, you just got the 2 bedrooms, and it's like, what you'd have to convert that space you're in right now to a bedroom otherwise.
Basically, yeah. I mean, they can share a room for a little while, but after a while, it becomes a little bit inappropriate. So at a certain age, Plus the space, we only have 1 bathroom, and 2 kids, 2 adults, one bathroom, one small ass bathroom.
Like Justice Point shows me, so what if one of us gets sick? What are we going to do? What if we get sick at the same time?
Yeah, that's true.
What if we both get explosive diarrhea? What are we going to do?
I just go on the sink.
Yeah. Worked in Montreal.
Babe, this is double sink. There's enough room for you. Don't worry.
We're going to top deck this one.
Oh, God. Gross. Make sure you go into the garbage disposal. Turn that sucker on.
Oh, God.
Meow. All right, well, I guess I'll do mine. I had a birthday. You were gone.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you. It was fine.
We used to give each other marginal gifts on our birthdays. Now we're just like, hope we had a good birthday.
Yep, pretty much.
We used to have parties and have fun on our birthdays.
I was going to say, I didn't do that really either, so you didn't miss anything. I didn't do anything. We went out to eat for my birthday, which was nice. We went to Hopcat. I only got one.
I've been there forever.
Well, we got a couple gift cards for recommending our realtor to somebody else. So they sent us them and things.
Did you get the cowboy burger?
I think I did actually. Is that the stuff? It's stuffed, isn't it? I think
Oh, I don't
mine was
know.
stuffed. I was debating between that one and another one, and I don't remember what I got. I had bacon on it. I had an onion ring. I got
Perfect.
jalapenos on the side.
That's all you need.
Yeah. I did try one of them. They were fried. It wasn't that bad.
Oh.
I like the taste of a jalapeno. I just can't handle the spiciness.
Mm.
It's like an extra good green pepper or something. You know what I mean?
Peasant.
It's good. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just glad I didn't pay for it later in the speaking of liquid diarrhea, whatever, explosive diarrhea. Yeah, so it was pretty low key birthday. We went out to eat. That was fun without the children. And
Ooh, bonus.
then I went and saw him. See, on my birthday, we didn't actually do anything. My birthday present, well, not my present, but my birthday happening, the thing that we did was I basically got to stay at home and do nothing downstairs in the basement all day. So I could pretty much do whatever I wanted, which was kind of nice because that's been a
You got
while.
like a Lucas day, like
Yeah.
self-care day?
Yeah, pretty much.
Whoa.
Pretty much. And
I would just waste that, and I would feel like there's no way I could properly take advantage of such a situation.
well, you do have it. There are times when you're just like, I just want to sit here and browse YouTube or Facebook or something because I haven't gotten to do that. Where you just sit with your mind blank and you're not doing anything and you're just enjoying the peace and quiet. Well, see, because my son went to his grandparents, so that made it a little bit easier for all that to happen. That wasn't really the plan; it just kind of worked out that way. So, yeah, it was. And then my birthday present happened to come on that day as well, which was I got some media shelves to hold my DVDs and games and stuff because I was using this nasty ass white bookshelf, and so now I have a little bit of more like they're black. They go with the
all I can see is the impressive
over
Cody markings.
Oh yeah, I know he's horrible. So now I have those. The black one. They're hard to see, but I have those instead of those awful white.
They blend it nicely with the entertainment center.
Exactly, and that's gonna get removed and changed out too because I don't really like that one. That's just a cheapo one that I bought because I didn't think I could hang the TV on the walls, and then I found out there actually was studs in here, so I didn't have to get that type because it was one that had the bar on the back where you could just hang the TV on the bar that's connected to the entertainment stand. So, but that'll go eventually because I need more space and stuff for that too. And I don't like how it doesn't have a back panel, so you see all the wires. You don't route them through anything; they're just kind of there.
Yeah,
looks messy. So yeah, so I have that to hold my collection of nothings, and yeah, so I just watched a bunch of movies basically, and then the next day for the rest of my birthday, I went to the movie theater by myself and watched a movie, but I'll talk about that in the what you playing section. I basically said, Danette, I need to figure out a way to watch this movie because I really there are so many good movies in the theater right now. Like it's nuts.
I believe it.
Spider-Man, Crawl, that alligator monster
That's a
flick,
good movie.
that turned out to be. It's got like a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. I couldn't believe it.
The last movie, I'd have to go back and listen to the show, I think, to figure out the last movie I saw in a theater. I think it was Black Panther.
Whoa. That was what, last year?
Right? Wait, what could no, it had to have been Infinity War, Part 1. I think that was it. Yeah, Infinity War Part 1.
So that was Christmas of last year?
Yeah.
Dang. Well, I mean, I'm not much further away.
When did Hereditary came out before that? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, just before that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Infinity War. Yeah.
Wow. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
somehow I haven't seen any spoilers for Endgame. So how about that?
That's pretty impressive. See, I find that if you just avoid it for about a week and a half, you kind of like the excitement and the spoilers kind of fall off. And then everyone's moved on to the next thing.
Well, there's Discord channels I'll never go into again. But, yeah.
You like the one that's in PSVG that's literally labeled spoilers?
Yeah. Or I don't go into the other movie one anymore either. I have them both muted. And I've taken myself off any roles that were frequently tagged there.
I try not to really talk about spoilers or anything like that unless it's specific to that channel. Because you never know.
Spoiler culture, I think, is gone. We're a bit overboard with that now, but
yeah,
I think I don't know. I feel bad for anyone that makes any movie related podcast. It's like, well, I'm never gonna watch. I'm sorry, I can't listen to your show
Well, that's
because I'm never gonna see anything new. Like I want to see
not
I want to
current.
see Midsummer. I'd like to see the Spider-Man movies. I haven't seen any of those yet. It's just it is what it is.
It's easy to get behind. It's like video games. Once you fall off the bandwagon, then it's really you're just like, well, whatever.
Yeah. Like the
momentum.
the Netflix Marvel series. I'll never watch those because I got behind, and I'll never because now it's just like so daunting the idea to get caught back up.
Yeah.
It's like I'm never gonna do it.
And something else has to suffer, and what that was for me, because when we get to what you playing, I have a lot of movies to talk about, but I didn't play hardly any video games at all. See, that was the trade-off. It gets to be, I basically have about 2 hours in total to actually do stuff because I have to go back upstairs to feed Evelyn and everything. So that kind of splits up the time. Plus now our son is going to bed later. And sometimes he still naps, which means he goes to bed even later. And when I say later, I mean, it's not like he's going to bed at 11 or anything, but still. But anyways, the other thing that I had to talk about was automobiles. Now, this started with me finally getting off my butt and reworking out my my car. Though I've talked about it in the past, I did the timing belt change on it and everything. And then I found out that something was wrong and the timing belt had gouges in it, and I knew I was going to have to redo it, and I was going to have to wait because it was too late in the year, blah, blah, blah. So I finally got around to taking the car cover off, getting it back up on the jack stands, and starting to do the work on it. And boy, oh boy, when I took that car cover off, it was really, really depressing.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah. Because of the way that the car cover lets dust and water through, it basically acted like a sponge that just sat on top of my car. So now there's a bunch of fine dirt and dust on there. So it looks in really bad shape. It looks like a barn find. That's basically what I equate it to, because it's pretty rough looking right now. But, that's all on the surface. It can be washed. That's fine. It's really not that bad. But then I'm starting to think like, man, it's been sitting here a while. What if I do all this work and it's for nothing? Because I've already done it once, and I got to take all this stuff apart out of the engine, and it's a real bitch to get to everything. And just like, oh gosh, what if I do all this? So I was just getting down on myself, but I've decided I'm just going to do the work, and whatever happens, happens. It's better than not doing it and just having a car sit there and rot away,
Right.
So I already put most of the money into it. I just have to buy a new timing belt and maybe a tensioner for that timing belt, because it's hydraulic, it's automatic. So if it's worn out, the original hydraulic, tensioner is like 30 years old almost at this point, or 20 years old. Sorry.
God, that's insane to think of.
So, or no, it would be 30 years
old.
old.
It doesn't feel like it's that old, but then you actually do the math. You're like, okay.
Yeah, it's a 1990, but it was actually built in 89, if you think about it that way, and sold because cars are like 1 year ahead or whatever.
I want you to get that door handle fix.
The door handle fix?
Or is it the
interior door handle? Yeah. That's because Mike pulled that off. I told him not to do that. He was trying to close the door because it didn't close all the way, and when I was driving the car, so it's really hard to like open and close. So he opens and then he pulls on it, and it was already loose for some reason, and it just pulled, like the bolt that held it down pulled right through the bolt hole.
Here's what you do: you need to get that car humming, purring like kitty cat, and then we go on a road trip with it, and then we get stranded in the middle of nowhere and
get killed by hill people. Sounds like a plan. I like that.
And then we'll document it in a podcast series.
Ooh.
And it'll just be the hit of the times.
Season.
It'll be the next serial. Okay.
I like it.
I can feel it.
I like it. Well,
backwater business with the Fluxtaposed.
Ooh. I like it. Had kind of a weird, we were talking about explosive diarrhea, and then you brought up backwater. It's a theme. It's a theme. We're themed tonight.
I mean, if you can buy a gamer bathwater, why not?
Gosh, don't even get me started. And then
I think it's genius.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, if people will buy it, yeah. I mean,
exactly.
That says more about the people buying it than
that's what she does. She's a troll. She does that. And if people are gonna seriously if she's just gonna take water and put it and just sell it, and people are gonna buy it. Who's the stupid one?
Maybe that really is water that's trickled down the ass crack of a giant. But it was a
Ooh, that
that
is
is
a
a callback.
callback.
That is a callback, sir. Get your phones out because that's a callback. And then to carry on in the automobile, Rose and Sons garage opening. Now I have Rose and children. You know, maybe my daughter wants to work there, so you never know. Gotta change the sign.
That's right.
I gotta work on this dang Pathfinder now. So
Ooh.
I did the air conditioning fix, right? Where I put that piece in I was telling you, the electric control resistor thingy. So I ordered another one of those and put it in, and it worked for a while. But then the blower motor started going. Like you had to. Sorry, that sounded really like Midwestern. Blower motor. Oh boy, the old
I have
blower
air
motor.
conditioning again too.
You do? Did you get it fixed, or did you have to refit? Did you have to recharge it, or do something else?
I had a drain problem where it wasn't draining, so I'd have water flowing.
Oh,
into the car.
that's right.
So
that's right.
That's all fixed.
You mean you don't want water flowing into the car? That's a
Not
new
really.
kind of air conditioning.
I mean, you don't need an undercarriage. Just let it rust out.
It's called water conditioning. So the blower motor went out, and I had to take that out. And thankfully, it's like right there. So I just had to unscrew 3 screws, drop it out, and put it, because it's all behind the glove box. So I already had it.
What year is the Pathfinder again?
2002. So it's pretty old.
Okay, good. Because I feel like, but I feel like once you get past 2005, they're like, well, let's make it impossible for you to do anything in the car now.
Yes, that's true. I wouldn't be surprised if all the screws were actually like torque bolts or whatever, the star-headed ones. So, or security bolts.
I don't even know how, remember how I talked about how to change the batteries in our cars? I don't even know how to get to the battery in my Equinox. Like, I know where the battery is. I have no idea how to get it out because it's got like this weird heat sink thing on it. It's kind of the one where it doesn't have the terminals. It has those extra posts just underneath there that you can tap into. Yeah. It's just so bizarre, man.
I think you use a Sawzall and just cut it out while it's running. So that we had to order that, which I got that in real quick today and fixed. No problem. I mean, you can't really fix anything. You just replace the part. But then all these lights start going on. Automatic transmission oil. Not because I did this. This was before the air conditioner. Automatic transmission fluid, oil, whatever. The brake light.
Fluid.
Yeah, blinker fluid. The brake light and the battery light. Those 3 lights, which I have learned indicates on most vehicles a low charge. So probably an alternator/battery problem. So I'm thinking the alternator is going out on this thing now.
Sorry, are you going to try to change that too? Or?
Yes, thankfully alternators usually sit towards the bottom, and you can just reach up.
The issue is you got to get the belts off, right?
Yep. So hopefully, if it's not a serpentine belt, I can just loosen the one belt on there and then take it off, put it on.
I marvel at your willingness to try to do so much yourself. Because I would love to, but I don't have the time. It's the unfortunate thing. And I don't think I have.
Well, see, that's what it is.
Any of the ability.
It's the triangle of power, the Triforce. It's time, money, and quality. You don't have time, but you have money, so you get quality. I have time, and I have. Well, I don't know if I have quality, but I don't have any money.
I have money.
Well, I mean, you must, because you make it work somehow. I mean, we probably could if we wanted to.
Don't save anything. Ever.
Yeah, that's probably. I mean, I understand, but I probably could take it in, but I just would kill me. I have the means to. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna at least try. I'll give it a shot, and if I fuck it up, then I'll let somebody else come up and fix it. So,
did I tell you all the stuff that I got replaced on my car?
Before you, it was while you were gone, right?
Yeah.
No, I just knew that it went into the shop.
2 control arms.
Dang.
In the front.
Yep.
New shocks and struts, front and rear.
Dang.
Sway bar links.
Yeah, that is gonna feel like a new car.
AC. Yeah.
Jeez. Nice.
And
dude.
the only way that could happen is because my dad got all this money. My stepmom has MS, and she's now gets disability, and it took forever for them to get it granted, and then once they finally got it, they got like a couple years of back pay on top of it. So all of a sudden one day, he just got this buttload of money, and he's like, "I've helped your brothers with car stuff, so I'm taking care of it." Nope, you know I can afford it. So he paid for it, and that's the only way that was going to happen. So very thankful for that. But yeah, it's like a brand new car, man.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
But that's
so sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, if you take care of the problem before it becomes a problem.
That's the moral of the story. I usually lose. If it's medical related, I lose.
Yeah.
Bills, at least. Health-wise, I'm okay.
Medical bills, automobile
How about insurance
bills.
Related? There we go. Insurance.
I've never won the lottery. So
I can't even win a Fudo giveaway. So I mean, let's not even talk about the lottery here.
You're screwed. You're screwed. That was my IRL.
We're going down a dark path here.
We are. We're feeling sorry
for ourselves. We're getting depressed. We're getting somber. Let's turn it around. Let's around the way.
Woo!
It's kind of funny. Both our wives submitted articles this week.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
This is an older one, but my wife texted this to me while on vacation.
Wow.
This comes from The Guardian, UK. It's more than 4 years old. I don't know how I'm not sure how she stumbled across it, but it's great.
Can I just say real quick? I love that this article gives you a yellow highlighted thing that says this article is more than 4 years old. I actually like that. That's nice because more articles need that, especially when you're dealing with, new, like game news or something like that. And that's cool. All right, please continue.
Man fined for pretending to be ghost in Portsmouth Cemetery. Police spokesman says witnesses complained about Anthony Stallard throwing his arms in the air and saying, "Woo." So this happened. Man has been fined for pretending to be a ghost and other rowdy behavior in a cemetery. Anthony Stallard pleaded guilty to threatening or abusive words or behavior likely to cause distress. The court heard that the 24-year-old had been out drinking with friends when they went to Kingston Cemetery, where they started to play football. Witnesses complained to the police about Stallard's rowdy behavior and his pretending to be a ghost. The witnesses reported the group engaging in rowdy behavior. That they really stressed the rowdy behavior in this article.
It was very rowdy.
One of them throwing their arms in the air and saying "woo."
Maybe he was a woo girl.
He was fined 35 pounds.
British pounds.
20-pound victim surcharge and 20 pounds in costs. So, I mean, a whopping 75 pounds.
Good Lord.
He also had extra 3 months added to a conditional charge for previous harassment. Yeah.
I hope that was the actual charge on the ticket or whatever.
It doesn't even, I mean, wow. I mean, you just imagine those Brits, they're getting all sauced. This is ruins
we can't have this.
I'm very sullied right now, and I'm very upset. Very upset, sir.
Hello.
No, good day.
This is an affront to my.
Are you oohing me? No one oohs me. That's how it happened.
Governor, not enough governor.
Yeah, I love governor. I don't know. Let's move on, shall we?
Quick.
Let's see what your wife sent us this week.
I have not read it. I just saw the headline.
The headline makes me laugh. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should just make our wives curate around the web. That's the new job.
Yeah, they can be unpaid interns. I like that.
It works out best for us. Headline. This comes from MLive, which is for those unfamiliar. MLive is a local area news publication here to our region of Michigan. News aggregate, I guess I should say. A serial pool pooper is on the loose in Michigan neighborhood. This has the recipe for destruction. I think that's our episode title, Pool Poopin.
Pool Poopin.
Explosive. I mean, we've already talked about explosive diarrhea.
I told you there's a theme.
There's a theme here. A serial pooper is on the loose in Michigan. Sound crazy? Guess again. According to a notice posted by a neighborhood association in Macomb County, an unidentified individual is secretly defecating in the public pool, prompting closures and a search for the person responsible. I'm going to have to read that notice.
Yeah,
Someone has been defecating in the pool. Due to the frequency over the past week, we believe this is intentional. At the present time, we are reviewing attendance logs and recorded video. Rest assured that we're following published guidelines to restore the pool to a safe and sanitary condition. Story continues. According to the association, a pool attendant has been hired to remain on site until the end of the summer, and the board has been in contact with local authorities regarding the issue. Health department is aware of the issue and is taking the necessary steps to keep the facility safe for the public, according to the Detroit Free Press.
This is like that guy who was pooping on the school lawn or the school football
the guy,
field.
that coach, the guy got
Where's
fired.
he? It's him. He's back.
This is good. I mean, this is
the question. Good. The question is, okay, do you hang over the edge or do you fully submerge?
I think you just dangle. I mean,
dangle over.
I mean, do you want to be in your pool poop water? I don't want to be in that.
That's a good point. Especially, what if it comes out liquid? Then you're surrounded in a dark cloud of feces.
Funny fact. Here's the throwback for you too. Speaking of poop, that was like we did one of those carriage rides where you drive yourself around. And going around the island. Aiden's favorite part was when because we had 4 of us in the carriage, so we had a draft horse, not a draft, like a draft horse, which was like a Clydesdale almost, pulling us. His favorite part was when the horse pooped. We got the most enjoyment when the horse was pooping.
I mean, everyone gets enjoyment when you go poop.
I tell you what, when a horse pees, it's like Niagara Falls unloading. I mean, that's a lot of fluid flowing down.
And they're big animals.
If you know what I mean.
Okay.
So there you go, pool pooping. Hope they catch that serial pooper.
You know what? I hope he lives on in infamy.
He just might.
He just might.
You ready to go?
Into what? Am I ready to do what? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I think it's this next segment we like to call what you plan. I was like, do I have to say it a third time?
That was an old school one.
That gets me back. Hey, you were going to play that game last week when I was gone, but you didn't.
Because Josh and Kevin were like, hey, we should play Pummel Party. So I played Pummel Party.
I got it now, but now you guys will probably never play it again. Kevin's just going
to
play Apex
actually,
Legends.
Kevin, we all really enjoyed it, even though that was technically the third time I played it. And we had said we needed to wrangle you into playing it.
It was better because you got rid of Josh's wife this time. You're like, this is more fun without Ashley.
Yeah, girls don't play video games. I can't be myself because I don't want to offend her. It's all true.
What you playing for those? We'd like to give you a little dose of what we've been consuming in the media of. Maybe it's a book, maybe it's a comic, maybe it's a movie, maybe it's a TV show, maybe it's a video game. We like to talk about all those things, and we hope we make it sound interesting. Maybe we don't. I don't know. I mean,
we often talk about how we don't know what we're talking about.
I would like you to do yours in the style of Jeff Goldblum.
Oh God, Jeff Goldblum. I just think Jurassic
of
Park
that interview that Matt posted when he was talking about the Jazz Fest. I'm just gonna play, and there's people, they'll be there, and I'll talk to them because I like to talk, like yourself. I'll talk to you, and then that'll just be the thing.
Interview at 2019 Rochester International. That I'm gonna play a little. Wait. Oh wait, I can't do it because I did it on the wrong damn computer. My bad.
Oh.
Maybe I can.
Send the link.
Can you hear that? No. Okay. Send a link.
Send the link to yourself and then open it on your thing, and then you do that.
Is it?
I don't know.
Is it worth it? Is it worth it?
I mean, it's pretty funny. It's Jeff Goldblum. I mean, who doesn't like Jeff Goldblum?
Well, I mean, I need to. Obviously, if I'm gonna talk like Jeff Goldblum, I have to hear what he sounds like. I've never heard him speak in my entire life, so.
I always get his apartments.com ads every time I listen to Spotify.
Oh God. Yes, that's true. The apartment internet. Here we go.
Think of Jeff Chandler.
Think
of Whoopi Goldberg, and then just speak a little bit, and that's me.
A little Charles Bronson there. We can throw in
Charles Bronson.
He talks so low.
Emma Thompson. There we go.
Emma Thompson. I love her. That was our first movie.
Emma Thompson. I can't get that low.
And not long before you were born in 19.
What year was that? 92, 93.
You're going to be all over the place.
Late 80s, I think.
Right.
Something like that, right? Yeah. Thank you, Derek.
Hey, Jeff Goldblum, welcome to Rochester.
Thank you so much. It's a thrill to be here.
So you've been playing jazz for a long time. It's kind of a unhidden secret. Now, putting the album together, what was it like? Just to put some of your favorite songs with some good friends.
I loved it. Well, not only good friends, these guys are the cream of the crop. Do you know all these players? Annie Elcott is here with us tonight singing Up a Storm. And Joe Bagg, the organist, and Scott Gilman, saxophonist, Kenny Elliott, the drummer, Alex Frank, the bass player,
he's
Story is on guitar. And who am I leaving
terrible
out?
Podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was trying to see if you got to the part you said. No, what it is he's always like talking like this. Like, why am I doing this? But it's always, everything goes up at the end, and it sounds like the sentences, they never end. And then he goes off and he starts.
He just goes up and like multiple.
Starts thinking, and he's a terrible public speaker. He makes me feel good about myself. Anybody who goes like
life finds a way.
And now you're selling it. You're selling it. Well, if you don't want to be here all night, I will deny your request for me to do What You Playing That Way.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
Go ahead.
Okay. I got a bunch of movies. All I did was watch movies. That's not true. I did play some games, but I will talk about them next week because I want to get a little bit into them more. So instead, I will tell you this. Since we podcasted last, I watched 11 movies in total, or 11 modals and toodles.
Yikes.
Here's the standouts, Jason. The greatest hits, if it were. I bought Terminator 2 4K UHD disc to own. Home movie.
How do they do that with an older film that wasn't shot? And
they got to take the 35 millimeter film and rescan it.
Obi-Wan.
They have to rescan it, basically. So they'll take the original instead of, because for a DVD they'll usually
is it possible for film that like whatever film shot on to achieve that clarity? I mean, I don't know. Because what's better now? I mean, because I guess, film, there's stuff that's still shot on 35 millimeter today. Yeah. And I mean, a variety of different film types, or it's shot digitally. But I mean, do you have some degradation? Do you have some loss in clarity because it's on that type of media? And
film.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can get down to the noise that's on film is completely different than the noise that's on like a camera sensor for digital film. So, or digital video. So yeah, there's the problem is that 35 millimeter doesn't, from what I've read, doesn't have an actual resolution. It's pretty close to 2K, I think. So usually a Blu-ray will be pretty close to 4K. There won't be a huge amount of difference. What I've actually found is the HDR is what sells it more for me than the 4K. And that's because most movies are 2K anyways. I can't remember the exact specs, but they're basically the resolution of the film from a Blu-ray is not that much higher than the resolution of a film from a 4K. Because they're always 2K. They're always 2K up reses or whatever. They take that 2K image, try and do the best they can to apply clarity filters and sharpening and all this other stuff. But overall, most of the time, now Black Panther, for instance, is a movie that is actually 4K. It was shot in 4K digitally. There's some other movies like that, but overall, you take an older movie, you basically have to rescan the 35 millimeter print and do whatever you can to digitize it, make it look better. Now, and I'm actually going to get into that for a second because there was some controversy over this 4K release. The reason is because they applied noise reduction to the film. So they got rid of a lot of the grain that was there in the actual filming, like on the film. They got rid of that digitally. And they also recolored it slightly to bring out even more of the kind of tealish blue and orange color scheme that Terminator has. So some people, I mean, you get the cinephiles who are like, oh, this film's been recolored. That's not the original intention of the movie, the filmmaker or whatever. James Cameron, your lookalike, if I remember correctly.
I've been told.
And so people, there's controversy over that. Well, I sat on the fence for buying this for a long time. And I guess the only reason this even exists is because they did a 4K remaster of a Blu-ray. So they just took that and reapplied it to the 4K release and then did HDR. So everyone was bitching about this, and it got dropped down to $7.50 for a 4K. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy it and watch it and see what happens. I watched it. I think it also has Dolby Atmos mix. I watched it, and it's great. I had no problems with it. Yeah, there were a few scenes like with the noise reduction. If you turn it up too high, everyone starts looking plasticky because there's like this softening effect that happens to get rid of it. But I didn't notice anything really, and the HDR brought out so much more vibrancy to the colors and dark scenes and stuff like that. It looked great. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It's $7.50, man. If you're looking for a 4K Blu-ray, just pick it up. It's good.
I mean, first of all, it's freaking one of the greatest action movies.
Yes. Yes.
Terminator 2 is just like that pinnacle of, in my eyes at least,
of like the summer blockbuster action movie.
Yeah.
I agree. And for the most part, the effects still hold up pretty well. Except for one, and it's early on in the movie where the liquid one.
T1000.
T1000? Okay. He gets shot. And it's one of the first times he gets shot.
When he splits in half?
That's later. He has
like
these...
when the bullet holes reabsorb?
Yeah, yep. Well, they don't reabsorb right away, and they show a couple of scenes where he's like getting up off the ground or whatever. And you can tell they almost look like tinfoil circles that are just pasted onto him. They're not digital. And
they use probably like foil and like mercury and...
They definitely use some mercury else for like when he recombines. I mean, you can tell if you just look at it, it's like, that's definitely mercury. But now you can really tell because it's...
Right.
I haven't watched this movie since, probably on DVD or once.
It's been a long time since I've watched that movie, at least in its entirety. I mean, it's always it's been on sometimes. And I mean, that's like, I mean, let's face it, that's the highest point of that franchise. I mean, it's...
Oh, no, this new one's going to be great. That's what they said every time there was a new one.
Was it Salvation? Was that the one with which was the one with Batman in it?
Christian Bale? I think it was that one.
Was that Salvation? That one wasn't too
The one with the
bad.
woman?
Yeah.
Woman Terminator.
Oh no. Was that no, this is the one
No, it was 4. No, it was Terminator Judgment Day.
That was Terminator. No, Terminator 2 was Judgment Day.
Or duh. That's probably because I knew that.
Terminator 3 was the one with the female. That's the one where
Salvation. God. Salvation, yeah, Christian Bale.
Yeah.
That one wasn't terrible. I remember watching that too and being like, okay, it's not great, but it wasn't that bad.
But it's just hard to... I mean, here's the thing. The key element with Terminator that really makes it good is Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean...
It's true.
And it just... I mean, it doesn't work anymore. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, can't be worse than that last one with Khaleesi, right? I mean...
I didn't think that was...
I didn't see it.
That was another one that wasn't that bad. I think it just gets shit on them because it's the internet and people like to shit on things.
And that's true. It's true.
So, but yeah, I give it a 4 out of 5, man. It stands up as a really good movie. I don't remember a lot of the whiny kid stuff with River Phoenix. Edward Furlong.
Yeah, it's not River Phoenix. River Phoenix is in it, I think, briefly. I think he plays his friend. I can't remember. But Edward Furlong is the
Oh, my bad. I always thought it was River Phoenix. My God.
No, it's Edward Furlong, and then that dude from Salute Your Shorts has that brief scene in the arcade.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Butnick.
Yeah. So that kid Edward Furlong, he's kind of whiny, and his part is really, I don't know, when he's like talking about his mom and everything. So that was why I was like, ugh, the pacing here.
This boy.
No, I've never seen him in my life. Creed 2. Watched Creed 2.
Want to.
Watched Creed 1 earlier this year.
Is Dolph in this one?
Yes.
How is he?
Spoilers, maybe?
How is he?
They don't give him a lot of lines. He just kind of looks mean a lot. So he's fine.
Dolph Lundgren is a gem that I love to see back in cinema.
Yes. He's kind of like Jake the Snake, You're just rooting for him and you want him to pick up the pieces and come back. And damn it, he did. But again, I don't think they gave him many lines. He does speak Russian, which was kind of impressive. So I don't know if he just remembered it from the old days or what. But listen, all you need to know is I like this as much, if not more, than Creed 1. Creed 1 deals with kind of like the gangbanger, gangstery side of boxing, like machismo, the I need to represent myself in this way all the time, and they get caught up in kind of a dick measuring contest from what I remember. This is much more he's going to try and do what his dad couldn't and like get revenge and also step out of the shadow of his father and that type of thing. So that's kind of where this came from. And yeah, I mean, I really liked it. It was good. 4 out of 5. Next movie I would recommend them to anybody, by the way. Creed, the movies, they're good.
I liked the first one.
The first Creed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say a proper sequel.
Right.
Green Book. Now, this movie was talked a lot about during the awards season. I had not watched it until now. This is the one about...
For some reason, when I was looking through your notes and I saw Green Book in my head, I just pictured Green Room, and I was like, oh yeah. And then you're like, this one got a lot of awards. Like, that Green
Let
Book.
me look at that again.
Green Book.
Yeah.
Now I know.
I didn't know what to expect about this. I mean, I knew it had to do with like racial discriminations and all that. And so I hesitate to watch these sometimes because sometimes they just make you feel like shit for being a human. Just no matter what side of whatever you fall on, you're just like, ugh, our history is awful. Hell, our present isn't really that great either.
No.
But this is actually kind of a feel-good movie. It really never dips into the territory that badly of just like the failings of humanity. And you're just like, oh man, we're just terrible as humans. For the most part, there's nothing that really ever happens that challenges them too much. And there's usually some kind of feel-good resolution. Or at least, you know, like there's always something that the main character played by Viggo Mortensen, like that he comes to, and you're just like, man, this is a good guy. Like, yeah, he has flaws and everything. Both characters have flaws, which helps make them feel like characters. But it's, I don't know. You're just kind of like, I want that guy in my corner. I want that guy driving me around and stuff. So it was pretty good. But again, you know, honestly, he's
no Aragorn.
That's true. He has no sword. He did a really good job portraying a New Yorker. I think it was New York. So the acting was it was pretty good. It's just overall, I felt like there wasn't really anything too challenging.
You can't doubt Mahershala, right? I mean,
it's true.
Don't go against Mahershala.
That's true. I don't know what I was expecting, but overall, I just kind of felt like it was an okay movie. Like I was surprised that it was kind of, I don't know, maybe the subject matter kind of helped, but it's shot well. It looks nice. It's just from a story perspective, it didn't feel like there was enough challenging there that the characters had to go through a lot, you know? Mm-hmm. I mean, they did. It's based on a real story. So he did, obviously, but what they decided to show was just kind of a series of conversations and stuff. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. And then lastly, Midsummer. This is the movie I wanted to go to the movie theater to see.
Yeah, I want to see this one.
Obviously, I'm not going to spoil it, but I will say these things quickly. It's a slow burning journey into madness. What I mean by that is I didn't realize this until I bought my tickets. It was a 2 hour and 20-minute movie, which I thought was pretty long for a horror movie. But dude, I was in it the whole time. I was right there. I didn't check my watch. I was just watching the whole time and just like, it's like I don't know how to describe it, but it's just so slowly everything's going off the rails that you just can't look away because you're just like, what's going to happen next? I didn't know what was going to happen next. Given what the subject matter was, which it's about these people who go to Sweden, if I remember correctly, with their friend from Sweden to just journey around. To journey around the area and learn more about the culture and stuff. And they don't really ever telegraph what exactly is going to happen. So all the visuals, all the auditory things that are happening adds up to just like this psychological creeping terror where you're just like, am I really seeing what I'm seeing, or is it an effect, I guess? it's not. It's hard to explain without giving spoilers, but it's not ghosts. It's not paranormal. That's what I'm trying to say. What really helps with the movie is that the story itself and the characters are really strong. The opening of the movie, what you find out about the main character, the main character, one of the two, is just gripping stuff, and you're just like, oh, okay. And it affects that character throughout the entire movie in a very realistic way, and it really helps plant what happens in reality. Because it sets up the movie in such a way where you don't have to question why the characters are doing the things that they do. She's a very submissive person who allows herself to be kind of taken control of. And so you see that from the stuff that happens, and it makes total sense as to why the things happen the way that they do. You know, a lot of horror movies, you're like, well, why wouldn't you just do this? Why is this character even here still, or whatever? Right. Here, you don't have those questions, or at least I didn't.
I want to see it, Lucas.
If I had to be critical, I'd say maybe pacing. Maybe. But that's a real nitpicky thing. Because it's a slow burn, sometimes, you know, especially with horror movies, depending on your flavor, you may like the jump scares, the quick hits, the, you know, that type of thing. This is not that. So it is a slow burn. I give it a 4.5 out of 5.
That's up there.
Yeah, it is.
That's up there. I want to see it, but I probably won't. See it.
I'll watch if you can get. I'll go to the movies with you anytime. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, but here's the problem. This is the issue we run into is my wife would also like to see it. So you know.
Yeah, that's where I am lucky. My wife only likes certain movies, and horror movies do not fit that bill. So.
Did already know hello, sir. Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate. Because, yeah.
Well,
so
then
that's our problem. We'll probably have to wait until.
Make sure you rent it then, or whatever, or watch it on streaming because it's good. That's it.
Fine. That's it.
If I have to.
All right. I still play Super Mario Maker 2. It's a good time. Made a few levels. They're a lot harder than I thought they would be.
I played this game.
How did you play that game anyway?
I got it at the library.
Dang, you got that really quick.
They hadn't even ordered it yet, so when I put my name in, there was only like 15
so you got
people.
I'm surprised they got it in that quick though. Usually I feel like it takes a couple weeks after release before they get.
It probably was at least a week.
Did you play one of my levels?
No, the only because my son got to play it before I did because I was like, hey, you want to play the new game? Yeah. I played the one that Callow's son made.
I have to play that yet. No, I'm sad.
It's cool. I'll play one of yours. Post it.
Should.
Will.
I have to find it. I'll just show you my. We'll do that later. It's good. It's a good time. Yeah. So I'm still playing that. I totally forgot about this until we started. Like I heard the intro music and I'm running Stranger Things season 3.
Yeah.
We powered through that. Like that came out the Thursday before I went on vacation. We started it 4th of July night and finished it on Friday. So we got through that in two days. It's fresh. It's everything I liked about Stranger Things. I think I don't know if I feel like season 1 is still like the pinnacle. But I think this is better than season 2, and I still like season 2, but I think this was really good, and I'm interested. I think I've seen opinions online like they should end it here, and there's things I can't talk about. I don't want to spoil the journey.
I'm only on episode 4.
Interesting to see where it comes from this point, and it's the crazy thing is like you go back and look at season 1, and it's like shit. These were just kids.
Oh, I know, dude. They show some flashbacks, and you're just like,
watch them growing up as they've done this series. But I feel like for me, like some of the lure was that initial season when they were young kids. So now they're teenagers. So it's just, it's a different thing. Like the whole romance thing between Mike and 11 is just kind of like, it's weird to see being there.
Yeah. It's hard to go from like where it ended and then to see them in like full romance. Yeah. There's some time that's elapsed. Clearly.
It's funny how you dislike Steve so much in season 1 and how like he's one of my favorite characters in the show now. Like Steve and Dustin romance is the greatest thing. Fun fact, I didn't know this. Robin, the actress that plays her, that is Ethan Hawke's and oh gosh, what's her name from Kill Bill? That's their daughter.
Uma Thurman?
Yeah.
Oh
Ethan Hawke's
God,
Uma Thurman's daughter.
No clue.
Fun fact: my wife taught me. So there you go. But I can't recommend season 3 enough. It's great stuff. Dr. Mario World that came out. I've somehow that's held my interest. Longest I played a mobile game in a while. Still playing. I think I'm like on level 60. So I've played quite a bit of it. It's fun.
Dang.
I mean, I don't find the microtransactions to be an issue at all.
Kevin was saying it's kind of flipped. So
it is like because Dr. Mario, he threw the pills in and they came down.
Yeah.
This they go from the bottom up, and you didn't have to like before. And I've only played Dr. Mario a little bit on NES, but you couldn't manipulate once you broke off a piece and the other one fell, it would just fall straight down. You couldn't manipulate it. While this, you can move it and put it on other pieces. And
interesting.
It's fun though. I mean, I like it. It's a good time killer. It's a great pooping game. Let's face it, you're on the toilet. Little Dr. Mario.
Maybe they should have turd mode where all of the things are turds.
Yeah, that's the main allure of it. But it's been fun. I've been enjoying it. The online is kind of fun too. I played a few matches with that.
Nice.
My feature though was Masters of Doom. I finished that today. Started reading that like the Saturday before I went on vacation. So it was like about a week and a half. I read that book. Published in 2002. 2003, I think.
Oh wow! So why?
So it's an older book, but it tells, as they say, as it says in this, I think in the brief description, it tells the story of the two Johns. So it focuses on John Carmack and John Romero, and the story behind id and how they changed the gaming landscape and pop culture forever. So really, it talks briefly, kind of gives their upbringings and their both troubled childhoods and what led them into gaming, and then how they first met. And then how where they were first at Apogee, and then making Commander Keen, and then the creation of id, and then Return to Castle Wolfenstein 3D, and then Doom, of course, and then the split, and then a lot of stuff that I was like a trip down memory lane because there's so much I didn't remember. But I think the reason I found that anything tech and gaming nonfiction really appeals to me, especially these like behind the scenes stories of development and the things of that nature. But for me, I think why this really appealed is because all of a sudden it was like, they're talking about these games that I grew up playing. Like this culture, this is when PC gaming really came into its own, because we're talking about they started their game development journey on Apple II. That was what they mainly programmed for. And then Windows NT became a thing. But then, that slow evolution when DOS became, and then, Windows 95. But this is the stuff this was like the games we met playing, not so much Doom, but like Quake 3 Arena, Unreal Tournaments talked about there, just that era in gaming. So it was just really interesting to learn more about John Carmack and just like the type of person he was and how robotic and impersonal and the type of person he was to work with. And then Romero is like the complete opposite. He's like this showboat, a little more larger than life personality, much more in your face. They were like the perfect balance to one another.
Does it talk about Daikatana? Did you say
it does talk about Daikatana? So it covers, the success of Wolf, and like, they pioneered. I forgot, shareware. I played Wolfenstein 3D was the first person shooter I ever played. I played it on IBM at my aunt's house. I was probably 10 years old, 8 years old. I don't remember exactly. It was shareware. You could get the first few. You could get so many stages of the game for free, and you had to pay to unlock all the levels. They pioneered. They didn't pioneer it, but they were like the earliest success stories of that model, and they did that with Doom. And so they had no distributor; it was all self-distributed, and they had such low overhead because they made Wolf 3D at like their studio was this house in Shreveport, Louisiana, that the guys all lived together, and they just worked on the game. So they had extremely low overhead, and they had crazy royalty checks because I can't remember who was their publisher.
Apogee?
Okay, I did say that wrong. Apogee was the publisher. I can't remember the Soft Disk. That was the company they met. They were all working at. They started out with Soft Disk, but Apogee published the games and distributed them, and then I think they had a crazy royalty split, and since they had no overhead, they're making huge chunks of cash off Wolfenstein. And then
that explains why John Romero was because he drove like Lambos and stuff. If I remember
so did
correctly.
Carmack. Carmack had like 5 Lambos. Like,
oh dang,
they got like crazy because that like it talks about like Carmack. He was programming was what he lived for, and then he bought the Lamborghini, and then it was like the speed of the car, and then he wanted to make the car go faster, and and hacking the car became his new passion. And then
Whoa.
he got into aerospace, and he was building rockets, and he's always been. So
He's
it
the
talks,
original Elon Musk.
yeah, in a way. So they talk about how he is Engine John. He was technology driven, and how their development went is Carmack would spend all this time doing the research, and he would build the game engine and make this amazing technological leap with his game engine. And then Romero was oh gosh, what are they? Superstar. I can't remember how they is described in the book, but he was the game designer. He was the superstar gamer, and he was this rock star gamer, and he would design all the levels, and he would take the engine and do all the design and make this great product with it. But unfortunately, as their success from Doom, because Doom was like nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first person. It was the first. Wolfenstein 3D was the first, in a way, first person shooter, and this took everything from Wolfenstein and made it faster. And now you now had graphics on the ceilings and the floors, and before those weren't textured, and the speed of the game and the movement, and then they put in multiplayer, over modem to modem. They had a multiplayer component that had never been seen before. They created deathmatch. They coined that phrase and created what deathmatch is, and esports. And then Quake was unfortunately what drove them apart, because it took forever to build the engine, and then Romero kind of got caught up with this. He was, when he went to a convention, gamers like worshipped him, and they would always come up to him and say, do like the Wayne's World, we're not worthy.
Yeah.
And he got kind of caught up in this persona, and he was so caught up in playing Doom and everything about it. That really caused this big rift in the company. And then, he was kind of forced out of id, and then he started Ion Storm. And that's when he was like, okay, I'm going to do the complete different philosophy. Instead of, the game being ruled by the engine, the story and the creative side is going to dictate everything. The technology is going to fit in there. And then, the horribly plagued development of Daikatana, which took forever, and how much money Eidos pumped into that. And then it just flopped, and that was pretty much, the only good thing that came out of Ion Storm was Deus Ex.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, why does that sound familiar? Ion Storm.
Yeah, Deus Ex was originally pumped out there, and then Carmack, Quake did all right, but then Quake 2 was even bigger, and then Quake 3 Arena was huge, and then of course Return to Castle Wolfenstein. But other names that came out during that whole thing that brought back memories is Raven Software, because they licensed them out, because they developed the whole process of licensing out the engine to other developers to use, and all these other things that are more commonplace now. But like Hexen and Heretic, those are games I remember
those ones.
Raven made those, and those were all built on the Doom engine, and Romero was involved with those, and those guys hated each other, and then they they kind of reforged. I don't know. It talks a little bit about the book, as at least they came back to speaking terms, but the book kind of ends with id beginning development on Doom, what became Doom 3, or was it Doom 3, or was it like Doom 4, whichever the one they released in like the early 2000s. That was like the remake of Doom
3.
I can't remember.
Yeah, the BF,
Doom 3,
because they have like the Doom 3
well,
BFG edition.
there was like all these different versions of Doom with the way the game was, level editors and map packs that were included, and talking about like the Cyber Athletes Professional League, like all these things I remember from getting into gaming, like we did, or like I did with Wolfenstein. But man, it was really, I really got the journey, the story was really enthralling for me. Just the story about those two guys and the other developers that went through there, like Trent Reznor getting involved with doing the music and sound effects for Quake, and then Doom, the Doom remake, and American McGee was there at id, and
oh god, I forgot about American McGee's Alice.
Yeah, it's just crazy how long Carmack was. He was with the company until 2013. So he was.
Oh wow.
And then what's because who owns it now?
Bethesda.
Oh god. Yeah. ZeniMax.
Yeah.
ZeniMax does, and it's like crazy what a ride that's been on, and now it's fitting too, because Romero got into mobile game development, and that's what and then now until recently, this is like his next biggest game. This whatever Sin, the game he's got coming out for Switch and I think PC, the real time strategy, Prohibition tactical type RPG, Original Sin, I think is what it's called. I can't remember.
I'm trying to see.
It was in a Nintendo Direct, so I remember. So
I'm surprised he's not doing anything for the Oculus, because he was like really big into that.
Well, you're thinking about John Carmack.
Oh, sorry.
But
Romero,
he's
John,
not,
too many Johns.
I think he's if I can't remember exactly. I haven't read the book, but I don't think he's involved with Oculus anymore at all. I mean, anything that was good with Oculus is no longer in that project. I mean,
great.
They're all, Palmer was obviously gone, but anybody else in that book. I mean, there's nobody left from that original team that of the vision of Oculus that's still there. I really don't think we're going to see anything good from Oculus any further with Facebook's involvement.
As long as somebody else comes in.
I mean, the Quest seems to have sold really well, but I think what Valve is doing is going to be the next big thing, and I think HTC is even doing things better. So,
well, somebody's got to pave the way, and then
I don't know what Carmack's doing right now. I think the problem is now I don't think gaming really holds his interest anymore, and I don't think he pushed. I think for a while everyone thought he was going to be done with Quake 3. That was going to be his last game, because then he got he with 3D technology, he thought he had kind of advanced and iterated as much as he could with gaming, and it wasn't going to go any step further, And I think his problem was what drew him to John Romero when they were at Softdisk, because he finally met somebody that was a better programmer than him and could teach him things and push him to get better. And then, as his skills have grown over the years and he's improved, it's like, you just don't feel challenged. I think that's what got him into building rockets. That's what brought him into VR, is building these other things. And we'll see. Maybe I don't know. What this brought me into too is like I want to go back and experience like more of that classic original FPS game, and I can't remember the name of it. There's that one that's coming out for Switch that's like a mix of that old school Doom like FPS, but it's pixelated in its look back to the era, but it's got some more modern touches.
Is it the one that already came out on PC, like other platforms? Because there's one that's kind of like that. I was just reading about it.
I'll have to look it up off the show to know for sure, but all in all, man, yeah, this was a really great book, and I would recommend it to anyone that grew up. If you're in your mid-30s, you
Dusk
grew up with all these things. Dusk. I'll have to look it up.
Okay.
It just appealed to me on so many levels, because it brought back to that core gamer PC master race elitist attitude that we had back then. It was all it was like revisiting that, going back to the LAN party days.
That's all you had was your rig.
Like our first Fluxtaposed game night, it was Quake 3. We played Quake 3. We played Quake Live.
That's true.
And so
it wouldn't work on
there's something great about the gaming at that time. The gaming was much more magical back then, because we didn't have the internet like we do today, and everything was much more in its infancy, and
it seemed like there was more possible, even though things were actually more limited back then than they are now.
Yeah. I mean, this talks like this book. It talks like OpenGL becomes a thing. DirectX becomes a thing. Or the concept of adding a graphics card and having 3D acceleration in your games is a thing. I mean,
oh man, I gotta read this then, because
it's I read it through the Cloud Library app.
Okay,
so
not Hoopla, but the other one, the whatever it's called. Yeah,
it's called Cloud Library.
Okay,
is what it's called. Because it's not it unfortunately wasn't in physical anywhere. So I don't know what I'm going to read next. I'm looking for my next thing. I know Jason Schreier's working on his next book. So that'll be something down the road, but I kind of maybe we need to go into fiction for a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I'd love to read more books like this, but there's really not a lot out there. There's stories about Silicon Valley or other tech stuff, but I wish there was more quality things. Like there's all these books like the history of video games. It's like, no, I don't want that crap. So if anyone has any recommendations, please send them my way. But it was good. I'm a little disappointed I waited so long, because I think that there was a stigma to me that this game since this book was older, that I wouldn't enjoy it that much. But it was really good. Really good. So
I knew you were weren't sure about it on past shows. You were like, I don't know if I want to read it.
It was good though. I'm glad I did. It was a really good read. And it's like 300 with the acknowledgments and the notes. It's like 308 pages. So it's not like trying to read the history of the future, which is, much like twice that much. So,
oh boy, I still have that on my to-do list. So.
You're going to love that. I mean, I know it's going to be daunting to make time for it, but I think you'd really enjoy it.
If I like it enough, I make time.
You have that first person involvement in the media,
That's
in
true.
the medium. You know,
I was there on day one. Well, not day one because it took a while for it to get there, but when it finally got there.
And that's our show.
That is it.
That's it. I mean, as always, we have an OC remix to play us out.
Yeah.
So let me do this Patreon spiel, and then we'll get to that. So I have to say thank you to all of our patrons. And I want to see, even past and present, and maybe future, thank you guys for your support. We know summer and budgets and things make things difficult for people, and you got to jump in, you got to jump out. But if you supported us for a month and you've been here the whole time, we thank you for doing that. Because
yes, we do.
You helped us do great things, and we know the value, as we say on the show. We know the value of a dollar. We don't throw our money around lightly, and we don't want you to either. So, thank you for any support you've given us over this past, gosh, I don't know how long we've had the patronage now, Patreon page, year and a half. I don't know, something like that now. Yeah. So thank you to all of our patrons, but a special thanks to our Arbiters of Awesomeness, Josh Brown, Kyle Heyman, Tyler Rowland, Tom Servo, Matt Knight, our Executive of Excellence, Edwin Callow, and Bow before the Crusaders of the Legion, Dan Anthony and Devin Tyus. We thank you all for your support. And if you want to join the Flux Legion on Patreon, please check out patreon.com/Fluxtaposed to play us out tonight for Mostly Remix. We had randomly selected a song coming from Donkey Kong 64.
Did you see
who it's by? Our favorite remixer, Rebecca E-Trip, which I feel bad because we have shit on her so many times. And here's the privilege. This is the good thing, though. It's at the end of the show.
That's what I was just going to say.
Before it can kind of kill the mood and bring the energy down. I think now it's at the end of the show. If you want to listen to it, you can. If it's not your thing, you can just archive the show and you go on to your next one. But this is called Crystal Bound Chant. It's by Rebecca E. Tripp. It's from Donkey Kong 64, released 1999 on the Nintendo 64 by Nintendo. We've got 3 songs: Crystal Caves, Ice Cave Chant, and In a Snowbound Land, also called Clapper's Cavern. The music originally produced by Grant Kirkhope, the lovely Grant Kirkhope. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. I don't know. But hey, on behalf of myself and Lucas, thank you for listening to the show. We will be back next week for some more Fluxtaposed. Mm-hmm. That's all I got. We're going to play the remix. Okay. See you guys. Bye-bye, everyone.
How long is he going to do this for? Here we go.